Well, howdy everyone. I thought I would do an update on my hot chili peppers in my AeroGarden, and they are growing. Uh, had a bit of a disappointment. I had some red Thai peppers and they did not germinate, so that's kind of a bummer, but I do have these purple super hot. I have two of them, and this big one in the back here is actually a jalapeno, and I'm gonna do take a cutting off it and clone it because it's getting too tall. It's just about touching the light, and that's not really something that you want, is for it to touch the light. It's going to get clipped, and when I clone, I like to use a small pot of cocoa and some rooting powder, and I know there's a lot of ways to clone. Sometimes people use a dome and they even use a heat mat, but I found moist cocoa works really well. And if you put your plant in a kind of cool, shady place, they will usually root, and it usually takes about 2 weeks for a clone to root, but we'll get into this a little bit more. Okay, so let's get a good look at these plants here. You can see this one is really tall. It's up against the light. This one is one of those purple super hot. This one also a super hot. I do have another jalapeno coming up, but it's very, very small. I have this here. There's a couple of roots coming out. This is a rapid rooter, or a root. I believe this is a root riot, and actually it happens to fit right into the hole. So when I grow again, I may just use these and plant my seeds on top. The problem I had with the peppers, all of them really, the seeds were right on top, and some of them germinated, but they could not get a root down into the sponge, so they died. And that's pretty much what happened with the Thai peppers. And I actually had 3 pods of each, and I went through all 3, and you can see that empty one there. Nothing has germinated in that one at all. So I think it was a bad batch of seeds, and that kind of sucks, but you know, stuff happens. So some of these, I think you can see on this one, it's got buds coming, and it's going to be making peppers here pretty soon. This jalapeno, I see one, but it's going to get cut off. So let's do that. Let's clip that and take a clone. So the first thing, this is kind of hard to do one-handed, but the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this way down to here. So now we have this plant here, and it's got a pretty healthy stem. Now the first thing I do when I take a cutting is I dip it in water, and that's because if you don't, you can get air into the stem where it's cut, and that's called an embolism, and then your plant will wilt. So we don't want that. So I have that. I have a small pot of cocoa here. And I have some rooting powder here. And what I'm going to do first, I'm going to trim this plant because there's too much foliage on it. I mean, you can see this is a really big leaf. I'm going to take that off. So now we have a smaller plant. And the other thing I like to do, I like to take a knife or something sharp, scrape the stem a little bit. And what that does, it exposes some of the cambium layer, and that will help the plant root faster. So this cloning powder here is getting kind of down low. I hope I can get the whole plant in there and get it on the roots. Okay, that should work. And then all I really do, just stick it in and make sure, you know, it's the cocoa is packed tight around it. And in a couple of weeks, this will be a new plant. So, anyway, these guys, the ones that are growing, are doing quite well. But I am really disappointed that I didn't get my red Thai peppers. You know, I just think for what they charge for pods, I would expect them all to grow. You know, I don't know if it was bad seeds or just the fact that they were way up on top, but I really am going to go with these root riots from here on out. And I can just plant my seeds in the top. It's important that that hole be filled because you don't want to get light down into the water there. But those fit with room to spare, and you know, so those will work, and it's cheaper than, you can buy a bag of them, you know, so it's way cheaper than buying pods. Then you can just grow your own seeds and choose, you know, have more variety selection. Now overall, I'm really happy with this AeroGarden. This is an AeroGarden Harvest, so there's only 6 spots in there. My plan was to have 1 of each, but since I don't, I'm going to end up with 4 plants in here, I guess. There'll be 2 jalapenos, and there'll be 2 of those purple super hots, and you know, the unit works really well. You know, no complaints about the AeroGarden at all. I just don't like the way the seed pods sometimes don't germinate, and that's not a good thing. But that's about it for this week. Take good care of yourselves. Happy gardening. And yeah, if you want, you can clone yourself peppers off of here, because these plants are going to get big, and you are going to need to prune them if you want to grow them in an AeroGarden. Alright, take good care. Happy gardening. Grow some hot chili peppers. Bye-bye.